Hey everyone, and welcome to this visual exploration. Today, we're unpacking a seriously powerful concept, dueño de tu tiempo. Basically, that translates to becoming the absolute master of your time. We're going to explore a radical paradigm shift that'll completely rewire how you view your daily life, your career, and honestly, your whole future. You know, society gives us this super rigid definition of success, right? It's usually tied to a paycheck, a fancy title, or a specific lifestyle. But today, we are flipping that narrative completely on its head. This isn't about, just some productivity hacks to squeeze more work into your day. It is a fundamental reevaluation of what we're actually working for in the first place. So let's jump right in. I want to kick things off with a pretty provocative question. What is your absolute most valuable resource? If I stopped 100 people on the street and asked them this, most would probably say their 401k, their house, or, I don't know, maybe even their pristine collection of vintage comic books. We're conditioned from a very young age to view capital as the ultimate metric of security and progress. It's like the default setting for how we measure success. But what if that instinct is just entirely wrong? What if the lens through which we view wealth is actually the very thing keeping us trapped?
Okay, let's dive into this core contrast from the source material. It's money versus time and future options. Look, money is infinitely renewable. You spend it, you earn it back. The market crashes, the market rallies. But time? Time is strictly finite. Every single hour that passes is literally gone forever. But it's not just about hoarding time in a vacuum, right? It's about what that time actually affords you. Think about future options kind of like this. It's the difference between having the cash flow to finance a luxury SUV versus having the actual time to take a 2-month road trip across the country in a beat-up van. True wealth, according to this new paradigm, is the accumulation of choices. By shifting our focus away from just hoarding cash, we start accumulating the ultimate currency. And that's the freedom to choose exactly what we do and who we do it with.
So this brings us to an actionable identity, becoming a true master of your time. And that means stepping entirely off the default path. No more rat race. No more just working to earn so you can spend so you can work more. Being the master of your time requires intentional life design. It means that every major decision you make isn't evaluated by the old question of, will this make me more money right now? No, instead you ask, how much future freedom does this grant me? It's a highly strategic approach to living. When you prioritize life design, you're actively constructing boundaries and financial habits that serve your autonomy, rather than serving some endless corporate ladder or exhausting societal expectations.
And this brilliantly illustrates an incredibly profound directive from the text. Build a life from which you do not need to escape. Just think about our modern setup for a second here. We endure this grueling Monday to Friday grind just to justify blowing a massive chunk of our paycheck on 2 weeks in Cancun. We lean into a weekend of intense retail therapy just to decompress from jobs that absolutely drain us. We literally spend a massive amount of our resources funding our own escapes. But what if instead of staying on that retail therapy treadmill, you funded a daily reality that was actually fulfilling? When you become the master of your time, the ultimate goal is to design a Tuesday that feels just as aligned and peaceful as a Saturday. You literally stop running away from your life and you start actually living it.
So how does all this alter our everyday financial behavior? Well, it creates a massive shift in what we actually buy. We transition away from the purchase of objects and move toward the purchase of peace of mind. Now, the traditional mindset tells us to buy objects, right? The new smartwatch, the bigger house, the absolute latest tech. And sure, those things provide a fleeting dopamine hit, but they almost always require us to trade away our future time just to pay for them. Contrast that with the quiet, low-level dread of a high-interest car loan versus the deep, relaxed exhale of having a fully funded 6-month emergency savings account. Objects inevitably break or lose their shine, but tranquility compounds. It fundamentally lowers your daily stress and buys you actual, lasting joy.
So the crucial point is that this entire philosophy rests on 3 solid pillars. First up, treat time as your non-renewable king. Guard it fiercely because, honestly, no amount of money can ever buy it back. Second, measure your real wealth and autonomy and options. The ultimate flex isn't a designer label anymore. It's having total control of your schedule on a random Tuesday afternoon. And third, choose deep peace of mind over fleeting objects. These 3 pillars systematically dismantle the traditional worldview we've literally all been sold. When you start filtering your decisions through these rules, the way you navigate your career, your spending, and even your relationships will drastically change for the better. I want you to think about your next paycheck or your next major purchase. Ask yourself one stark, honest question. Are your choices today buying you objects or are they buying you freedom? Is that money going toward a temporary material fix that just locks you further into the grind? Or is it buying you a piece of your future time back?
Becoming the master of your time isn't something that happens overnight by magic. It happens choice by choice, day by day. Apply this lens to your life this week and watch your perspective completely shift. Thank you so much for joining me on this visual exploration. Keep questioning the default, and I'll catch you next time.